This is Valley View News.
5 people died and over 3 million were without power as a heavy storm hit the Northeast from Virginia to Maine. A Zumba dance fundraiser was held to honor a CSUN faculty member who died from breast cancer. And the U.S. Census Bureau predicts the Earth's population is reaching 7 billion.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Kelsey Partapillo.
And I'm Darren Johnson.
High winds and heavy snow have pounded the Northeast. The Halloween storm killed at least 5 people, and Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy said some people could be without power for as long as a week. Western Massachusetts had the heaviest snowfall, with 32 inches falling over the weekend. Meteorologists say the storm is unusual because of how early it arrived and how much of the region the snowfall covered.
A JetBlue Airlines flight was stranded on the tarmac for more than 7 hours in Connecticut. Passengers aboard the flight said they ran out of food and water on the plane. 17 other flights with different carriers were also diverted to the same airport. Passengers had to spend the night on chairs in terminals. JetBlue has had problems with tarmac delays in the past and says passengers who were affected by the problems will be reimbursed.
The U.S. Census Bureau predicts global population will reach a landmark number sometime within this year. In the first of a 2-part series, Jack Bryant explores what kind of challenges an exponentially booming population could face.
In 1804, the Earth had 1 billion people on it. Humanity reached 2 billion only 119 years later, and it took us 14 years to go from 6 to 7 billion people worldwide. In the first part of the story on population growth, we'll show you how valuable fresh water and fertile land will become to sustain as many as 10 billion people by 2050. 7 billion. That's the number of people who will be living on planet Earth by the end of this year. As populations continue to grow, Professor Michaud says some resources could become scarce.
Issues we face in terms of the environment, soil degradation, loss of fresh groundwater, and the effects of climate change displacing people.
Populations have gone dramatically up because death rates have fallen and birth rates have stayed the same, and therefore you get an exponentially growing population curve to a point, which is about this point where we're at right now. We are probably right at the exact maximum growth point of the human population based on these longer-term predictions.
Our most important resources will be fertile land to grow food on, and fresh water to nourish crops, and of course to drink. Los Angeles isn't located near a water source that can independently support it. Instead, water is brought in from aquifers and reservoirs that capture snowpack. But as population grows and other environmental variables threaten the reliability of water, it's worth questioning how we will provide this resource for everyone in the future.
The big thing is land.
Urban Studies professor Mintezno Woldea Manuel says it's worth wondering where we will grow food for so many people.
You know, even here in the United States, every single year, about 400,000 acre land is used every year for urban suburban development. And those lands are agricultural land, a prime land.
Geography professor Ron Davidson says Cairo is a good example of how people threaten their land.
Cairo is right at the hinge between the river valley and the delta, and it's sprawling onto the delta, which cuts off vital, fertile agricultural land.
Next time, we'll talk about population growth's effect on pollution and consumerism, and we'll also talk about some of the steps we can take to slow population growth and the tolls it will take on our natural resources. Back to you.
Thailand's worst flooding in 50 years continued as high tide made conditions worse. Government officials told more people to evacuate Bangkok. They said houses near rivers and canals were most at risk. The floods have killed hundreds, shut down factories, and led to disruptions of companies such as Toyota and Apple.
NATO's Secretary General says the alliance's 7-month campaign in Libya was one of the most successful in NATO history. NATO was in talks with Libya's interim leaders following the capture and killing of Muammar Gaddafi. Allies carried out nearly 10,000 airstrikes over the last 7 months. NATO claims the strikes helped defeat Gaddafi's forces while killing few innocent people.
A poll shows Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain is leading the GOP pack in Iowa. But Cain's camp is facing controversy. He's being criticized for an ad that shows one of his aides smoking. In defense, Cain says he doesn't advocate it.
Young people of America, all people, do not smoke. It is hazardous and it's dangerous to your health, don't smoke. I've never smoked, and I have encouraged people not to smoke.
Kane also denies reports he engaged in sexual harassment while he was head of the National Restaurant Association. Reports say 2 women quit after complaining about his behavior and were paid not to discuss the matter.
More California homes have been entered into the formal foreclosure process. Valley View's Kelsey Partapillo reports how some people are able to benefit from the foreclosures.
This is just one of the many Simi Valley homes that has been foreclosed on. Bank of America has foreclosure listings all around the city that range anywhere from $200,000 to $700,000. Bank of America led the foreclosure process last quarter with more than 14,000 default filings. Even though the number of default notices increased, the amount of homes actually taken back by the bank continued to decline. Short sale purchases contributed to the statewide resale activity. According to DataQuick, short sale purchases showed a slight improvement over last quarter. The transactions where the sale price fell short of what was owed on the property has helped many people and families get into homes for the first time. Homeowner Shannon Birch used this short sale process to help her buy this Simi Valley home about a year ago.
The short sale process allowed us to get this home at a cheaper price. The short sale basically allowed the owners of the home to sell the home for less than they owed on it. So we were able to get a good deal on the house.
DataQuick says short sale prices made up more than 17% last quarter compared to more than 14% of resales in 2009. This home that was built in 1962 has boards over the windows and insulation torn out of the walls, while this home built more than 5 years ago appeared to be in a much better condition. DataQuick has reported that more than 70,000 new California homes have received notices of default. Reporting in Simi Valley, this is Kelsey Partapillo for Valley View News.
Protesters marched through Oakland days after they clashed with police. Occupiers camping in a plaza were tear-gassed and hit with rubber bullets that left many injured. One protester suffered serious head injuries. Days later, the unarmed protesters filled the streets of downtown Oakland, marching toward the police station. Some people in the crowd were reportedly looking for a confrontation with the police, but it never happened. Oakland brought in more police officers from other cities to move the Occupy protesters out of their camps. The only reported property damage was graffiti.
100 people have danced for a charitable cause at CSUN soccer field. They were fighting breast cancer. The Susan G. Komen Foundation says there will be more than 230,000 new cases of breast cancer among American women this year. Valley View's Christiana Gross has more on CSUN dancers supported the search for a cure and one of their own.
Mary Jane Smith Waldman was a member of CSUN's Hall of Fame and a kinesiology instructor who died of breast cancer this month. The university honored her memory and all those who battled breast cancer. Cal State Northridge teamed up with the Susan G. Komen Foundation to host a Zumbathon fundraiser. The Party in Pink charity event was a dance fitness party to end breast cancer. Angelica Zavala danced from day to night.
I'm concerned about breast cancer in general, so I just came to support those who are affected by it.
The Zumbathon was led by a certified Zumba instructor and members of CSUN's cheer and dance teams. CSUN dancer Kristen Schultz thought the Zumbathon was successful.
Not only like money because you had to get tickets to come in here, but also like just having this community and having everybody in here like dancing for the cure, and like it's just a support system, and I feel it's really important and necessary.
By coming to events like this, it really shows people that we can actually raise awareness, raise money, and raise support to actually find a cure.
The crowd of mostly women shook it, shimmied, and dropped it as they enjoyed dancing for the cause. Though everyone was having fun, the night wasn't just about dancing. Colleges Against Cancer hosted a booth and gave people information about how to check themselves for breast cancer.
We were showing them what to look for as far as the physical differences in your breast, things like nipple discharging, really emphasizing that they need to know their breast.
100% of the proceeds from the Zumbathon will go to the Susan G. Komen for the Cure Foundation. Many of the dancers at the Zumbathon didn't know Mary Jane Smith Waldman, but they came out to honor her. The event wraps up National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Back to you in the studio.
A Santa Monica organization is speaking out against suicide and will highlight the Pac-12 shootout between Stanford and USC.